welcome to Loot Level Chat, the podcast from Loot Level Chill. I'm your host, Mick Fraser, and I'm joined by Kieran Singh.
Hello.
Steve Chambers.
Ahoy there.
And the triumphantly returning, Lyle Pendle.
Woo! I'm back with shaky internet that might fuck up at any moment.
Internet. So it might be a brief comeback, but it's a comeback.
But it's a comeback nonetheless. Not all comebacks can be great comebacks. Some comebacks are like whimpers as opposed to like fireworks.
Well, look, traditionally people only watch the first few minutes of any YouTube video anyway, so they get the Lyle treat, and then if you drop off, no one loses anything.
They got what they came for.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can live with that.
But actually, to that end, so we're gonna do. We've got 3 games to talk about this week, and because we don't know how long we'll have Lyle with us.
I'm not gonna die.
You've not given them the news, have you, Lyle? Jesus.
So I thought we'd talk about
5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, because he's frozen. Oh, there he is.
At high speed.
So because Lyle's not been here for a couple of weeks, so we've missed a couple of games that Lyle's. We could have a bonus pod, I think, one week and just catch up on the games that Lyle's reviewed that we missed because of whatever reason.
Loads of them.
Because there's quite a few, but we've got because we still haven't spoken about the Adventures of Elliot, which we will one day. We will talk about the Adventures of Elliot
one day.
But tonight we're going to talk about a remake. It's 2 remakes to discuss tonight, actually, and we've given them both big fat scores because we love them. I'm not saying that our opinions of the remakes were coloured in any way by how much we love the originals, although.
But maybe.
Let's be honest.
Maybe a little hint.
They may have had something. We did have nostalgia goggles on for both. But Lyle reviewed Star Fox last week. Is it just Star Fox? But it's actually a remake.
Star Fox.
It's a remake of Lilac Wars, though, right?
Yeah. Or Star Fox 64 for people who aren't where we're from. But we don't talk to those people. We're racists on this podcast.
Fuck those people. We've got no time for them.
I'm not being tired of racist for fucking Star Fox.
Yeah.
Star Foxist.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
tell us about it, Lyle. Why did you think it was good? Tell us about brand new game Star Fox and why it was
brand new game Star Fox. Well, okay, that's difficult because it's quite a lot like another game you might have played back on the Nintendo 64. To be honest, so what is good about Star Fox, brand new game Star Fox, is that it takes Lilac Wars, which is really, really good, and it makes it very, very pretty and run very, very smoothly. And it adds other things as well, but this is one of my favourite games ever. I just don't think any game has done... It's not really a popular genre, I wouldn't say, the on-rails space shooter where you sort of go forward and shoot everything in sight. But this is the best one of them, so you don't need to worry about the others.
I'd argue it's not much of a bar to clear, and this is from somebody who likes this game and liked the original. But it is. There's not much of a crowded room to fight its way through.
No, it meandered past one maybe. Yeah. But otherwise, it was fine, you know.
That no one's heard of that came out on like the Saturn or something.
100%. But
the only one I can think of recently, like Res, maybe.
Yeah, Res is sort of the same thing, but like...
And then my brain just fills it in with Afterburner and Space Harrier.
Yeah, that's
both 80s classics.
Yeah, 100%. Or different Star Fox games that aren't as good as this one.
There's many of those.
Yeah, it is kind of amazing, though, because this obviously was a game originally. So I'm just going to keep talking. They'll all hear it in the end. A Nintendo 64 game originally, so that obviously it looked chunky and blocky and realistically kind of ugly. It was one of the prettier games on that console, probably, but that's not saying a whole lot. Whereas the amount that the modernization does just make it look absolutely gorgeous, and like all these cool themed planets I used to, love, and now sort of more realistically feel themed. Like you'll go into one and it's like, oh shit, this is a space base. It's not 20 blocks stacked on top of each other. That's amazing. This one's underwater. It's not just got a horrible filter on it. Great. Like these are all things that it really does bring it to life. And then on top of that, you have brand new cutscenes between missions that Steve would skip if you wanted to play Star Fox.
On the off chance I was going to play Star Fox, I promise I would watch them.
Oh, weird.
It's a safe. That's a safe
you
promise.
enjoy it less.
Yeah, he knows it's a safe promise.
He does, yeah. But these cutscenes, you know, they sort of tie it together as having a cohesive story, as opposed to you're just a fox flying a spaceship at bad guys. There's like, you get a little bit more of a sense of this whole like overarching war that's going on in the background. I won't say it's like the most.
Isn't there a lot about his dad in this as well?
There's a lot about his dad. His dad emotionally returns in the original, but you don't really know who he is or think about it unless you like. Of this time.
Oh,
and that was Star Fox.
and that was Star Fox, everybody. A great remake. 10 out of 10.
It threw me a little bit actually, because I played the demo, because when Steve says a game shit, I play it to see if it's actually shit. Or if it's just, if it's just Steve. So I don't, and I do remember really liking the original Star Fox, and I did like Lyle. I did play it on the N64. So I downloaded the demo on my new Switch 2 because I thought you might as well. You've got a Switch 2, why not down? So I downloaded it and I played the demo. And it threw me at first because I couldn't remember. I was like, why are they calling Fox James? I could not remember any of that. And then, like, obviously his dad gets blown up and I was like, yeah, they've either really changed this or I don't remember any of it. And then it, like, obviously it's his dad. It was his dad whose name's, for some reason his dad's name James Fox or James McLeod, because he's named
James McLeod, and
he's Fox McLeod, isn't he? That would be like me
instead
calling
of a
my
normal name.
Be like me calling my son Boy or like Human Fraser. That. It's a bit strange.
It's weird, but that's what he did.
Especially as the others have like Toad is his surname. He's Slippy Toad.
The name is convention.
And hair, Peppy Hair and Slippy Toad, that's like their surnames. But then Falco Lombardi doesn't even have
names. I just thought it was a descriptor for them.
Falco doesn't even have his full name. And then the other guy is like General Pepper.
Pepper, General Pepper, and he's a dog.
And he's a dog.
It sounds fucking
maybe his first name's Dog Pepper. Maybe that's his full name, General Dog Pepper.
I used to tie this into in my head canon, this was the same universe as Bucky O'Hare, because it all fits wonderfully well together.
It's just other animals flying vehicles, isn't it?
There, Mick.
It's kind of niche. Do you remember Bucky O'Hare?
Vaguely.
Yeah,
Bucky,
very vaguely.
Captain Bucky O'Hare. Yeah. The Animal Adventures of SBACE. Yeah.
You've seen that way too much, man.
I used to like Bucky O'Hare a lot. Anyway, Star Fox is good, apparently.
It's really good. I also, while ducking out, didn't talk about like the multiplayer that's better than it should be, and the cool like side missions where you get a big list of things to do in each stage, which are nice additional bits of content that I've talked about very, very quickly now before I cut out again.
Is it co-op multiplayer, Lyle? Is the co-op?
It is. There is a co-op, but there's also like a online versus thing where you go like 4-on-4, and one of you is like Star Wolf and the other one's a Star Fox, and you have like dogfights and you have to like capture objectives or all different things on different maps.
I think, is it right here you can also game share, so even if I haven't got a copy, which I haven't, you and I could play together still.
You can
I'll share it with you.
Yeah. That's quite cool. And that's not on rails, obviously, because if your dog
that's players, in the that's so like every few, like there's a couple of levels each time you sort of play through the game where you enter all range mode, where you, instead of being on rails, you are in like a fairly medium-sized square doing a big battle and fighting a thing. So yeah, it makes it a bit more open, and then it means you do sort of kind of tense dogfighting, and like even against bots and stuff like that, it's some of the most sort of fun gameplay you can have, just because there's something very fun about actually facing sort of similarly powered ships to you and having to outmaneuver and stuff, as opposed to just blasting, generic grunts.
And other
so that's got more in common with something like Rogue Squadron then for those levels.
Yeah,
that kind of feel.
And it's notoriously quite short, isn't it? Isn't the campaign is like one of those things that's like you just play the campaign like over and over. Like I can remember.
Yeah, there's like loads of different
campaigns.
Yeah. Like maybe an hour and a half, something like that.
Yeah,
So
I remember finishing it like a lot, because I remember finishing it quick and then playing it like quite a lot over the course of several months or whatever. He's back again. And I'm not cutting any of this. I'm going to tell Adam, just leave all this in because it adds to the charm. Especially when he comes back frozen and I'm not sure if he's just died on pod.
He keeps looking at me in a terrifying manner and I'm not sure what's going on.
I think he's just waiting to see if his screen moves. There he is.
Please don't stare straight down the barrel of the camera, Lyle, because it's properly terrifying.
Brilliant.
All right. Well, there we go. Good job, everybody. Enjoy talking about your games. I'll phase in and out of the call.
We got 3-star. Just every now and again, just burst in with a question. Every time you get a connection back, just ask something and we'll come to it.
Lyle, have you had a chance to play around with the furry cosplay of Game Chat on?
I haven't, but that's very weird, and I do.
What is it?
Well, you put your face on them, do you?
So you'll go into Game Chat and it will put you in there as an animated version of that character. But I think it's not just if you're all playing Star Fox. If you join Game Chat and you've got that on, then you'll pop up in someone else's game, no matter what they're playing, as Fox, for example.
Just sort of going.
What is it, like a filter or something?
Yeah, it's like sticking on like an Insta filter, essentially.
Yeah, it's sort of like what like VTubers do essentially in Star Fox for some reason.
Pervert's going to abuse that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, I like that they're doing stuff. They're doing stuff with Game Chat because Game Chat's quite.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll move on because
who knows how long we're going to get.
Well, we can.
We might lose him, but no. Star Fox, good. Switch 2, 10 out of 10. Read the review, download the demo, buy it, and then take your hour and a half 10 times to finish it.
Yes.
So we'll move on then. We'll talk about the next remake, which also we scored. Well, I scored highly. We haven't really had everyone else's detailed opinions yet, but which is Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, which was really annoying to type in the review because I forgot that Ubisoft just removed all the colons and dashes from their titles now, so it just reads as a weird sentence. So
and then you're trying to remember, should I be putting a colon here? Should I be?
Because I know once upon a time it was Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Then when they re-released it, it just became Assassin's Creed Black Flag because they all started just to get names on the end instead. And then like I was writing it out and I'd written it God knows how many times in the review, and then I opened like Steam or something to get the link, and it was like, oh, there's no colons or dashes. So I had to go back through the review and just like remove all the colons and dashes that I put in it. So yeah, Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. I love it. I fucking love it. I think it's brilliant. And like I'm on record on this very pod as saying that Black Flag is one of my favorite games of all time. I said it again in the review. So I was obviously going into this slightly coloured with sort of nostalgia and not just nostalgia, because I played the remastered version a few years back and I played
that was like the Xbox One era, wasn't it, when
I
it came
think
out?
so,
I think it was a launch title, to be fair.
Probably. And I played like an hour or two of the PS. I downloaded it on PS Plus and played a bit of that about, I don't know, sometime around the beginning of this year, just to sort of refresh myself.
Whetting your appetite for it again.
Yeah, but I only played like up until sort of Edward gets off the initial island at the beginning, like when he gets on Steed's boats. That was about all I did with that. But yeah, I thought it was brilliant. I mean, it's all there. My review's like quite long.
I think we underestimated it when we were doing our predictions.
Yeah.
You say we stuck it as, was it a 78 we stuck it at?
I think
it's certainly coming in higher.
I think we hedged our bets on the fact that it's Ubisoft, and some people tend to just like to stick the boot in on Ubisoft. Yeah. Also, the fact that people can be funny, like people are either chomping at the bit for a remake, or they go, "Well, who's this for?" And it's like we didn't know which way it was going to go, and I think it's landed more on the former side. People are quite happy that this exists. I think
just saying it's a remake is underselling it.
It is, yeah, because it is a complete
that just kind of goes, oh, it's a remake, but no, this is a full rebuilt ground up.
It is. I mean, I saw I don't want to name names, so I won't. But I saw like a publication that had basically put a review out saying, "Oh, you know, it's had a graphical overhaul, but not much else." And I thought, did you fucking play it? Like,
yeah, there's so much more than that.
Like, they've not only stripped stuff out, which is, that'll be a bone of contention for some. I know people like Kieran, that you'd said before, some people like the modern day stuff in these games. I personally don't. Like, I can take or leave everything modern day past Desmond Miles, because everything to me modern day post Desmond has just felt like Ubisoft did it because they had to do it, because they'd done it.
Got to shoehorn it in somewhere.
And that's why some of them do feel like this. I think the stuff in Black Flag in particular was one of the worst examples of it in the original, because it's like a weird, like, there's no stakes to it. It's very boring. It completely
wandering around an office.
It completely takes you out of the narrative of what you were doing, even more so than it does in like later games like Odyssey, Valhalla. What was the girl's? Is it Layla? So even that tied in. It felt like you were in the same universe as Desmond. That all worked. The Black Flag stuff I didn't really like, so it didn't bother me that they took that out. I don't like the stuff, and I don't want to spoil, but there is a lot of stuff they've added at the back end of the game, which is a bit weird. And I think it kind of, so I don't want to talk about it because the game at time of recording is not even out. But there is more stuff that ties into the Animus.
So, I was going to say, is it Animus based? Yeah.
It's Animus based, and it ties into something that has not been largely in any of the games, but it feels like they're taking the concept of the Animus and they're turning all of it into something else. Like, I can't, like, it's really hard to say much, but there definitely is a sense that, and I believe this is going to be what they're doing in Hexa. I think this is going to tie into whatever they're doing with the Animus stuff in Hexa, because it's got that kind of feel, if you follow me. It's not like dark magic, but it's like almost like a modern version of dark magic. You know, and it's like, it's very weird without explaining it, but it is in there. And I think that's what they're doing. I think they're gonna go with this with Hexa. I think if they do any more resynced versions, and obviously Kieran's done an article on the site where he lists several games that would make good resynced remakes, and I hope they do. I personally would like to see 3. I'd like to see the ones that were weaker, like 3, Liberty, Rogue. I'd like to see those games get resynced versions, but I think they could do what they've done here with like Unity.
I wouldn't say no to any of them, to be fair. If they can pull out the same level of quality they've done with this, then even
probably the first game would be ripe for this, because it really is such an outlier now.
Yeah,
with how different it is to the other games. But yeah, so I can see them going down this route. So I don't mind that the modern day stuff has changed. It's a bit egregious to say it's been removed completely. It hasn't been removed completely. They've taken out this is funny actually, because they kind of taken out almost all the bad shit. That's how I felt playing this game. Like, they removed the insta-fail tailing missions. They've made it so you can still buy the diving bell for your ship so you can explore shipwrecks, but that's not the only places you can dive now. You can dive freely and swim around. There's not much to see down there. You're lucky. Like, I just hold the left trigger randomly, and if there's a dock comes up, I'll dive there. And usually you don't get eaten by a shark, but you might. And then so they've added this thing. They've improved things like now the stealth is better because there's actually stealth in it. It's not just Edward crouches because the story tells him to. Now they've added stealth grass everywhere, but you can also crouch behind obstacles, and you can do corner takedowns and that sort of thing. To me, they've done a really, really. Anybody that is complaining that this has somehow made the experience worse or lesser, I don't understand that.
No, not at all.
That thinking, because how can you strip what is everything that anybody complained? Because I reviewed this back in the day as well. I reviewed this for our old site back in the day on Xbox 360, and I think I gave it a 9 then. And I reviewed several versions of it, remasters, Switch versions, blah, blah. I've never scored it low. But we didn't know because that was just what was in Assassin's Creed. You had tailing missions and eavesdropping missions, and they always changed a bit. But I just think they've done a really good job of this. And I really like how I can't stop just running around the islands. And do you know what I mean? I've not once thought...
You've got tick box fever again, mate.
Yeah, and I've not once thought, I can't be asked to do this bit, I'll come back later. I've just gone, it's on the island, I'm on the island now, I'm going to go and do it. And it has turned it into a bit of a checkbox. It has turned it into a bit of a, Edward's meant to be doing something, but really he's just climbing up like Stellas and fucking...
Going and grabbing yet another shanty.
Yeah, and shooting monkeys and skinning them for...
Speaking of which, is it me or are there a fuck ton more shanties in this?
I don't know if there's more. They have added more shanties.
It feels like there's a lot more.
So it's possible. But there seems to be like several in every area. And I feel like they're easier to get. I'm sure they were tougher to get than this.
They used to be a bastard. You'd always like trip up on the last bit and have to do it all again. Whereas now it feels much more lenient and waits around for you.
Yeah, I don't think I've missed one yet. Like everyone I've gone for, I've just got it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. There's some stuff they've added that feels a little bit out of place in terms of like, there's the Animus sort of activities. And they're basically the same as normal activities, but they've got Animus pixels on them. Do you know what I mean? Like there's the one where there's burning boats, and it's like I go there to do the Animus event, and it's just a normal burning boat. There are some.
This is where it's giving you points towards like the battle pass stuff.
And there are some things that are weird. There are some things to climb, and there's some puzzles to solve and things like that. But every one of them is like, without the modern day stuff, it doesn't make much sense why Edward would not, because the whole point of you remember the original Assassin's Creed thing is that you were Desmond and you played through memories.
Yeah.
So when there was weird shit going on, it was just accepted that the weird shit was part of the Animus and it was blah blah blah, and they did that through. When you take all that out, the weird shit is just weird. Like, why is Edward not going, what the fuck is this that I'm looking at?
I think that because the way they position it is that rather than Desmond being the person in the Animus, you're the person in the Animus, aren't you now? That launcher that they have is the Animus essentially. So it's weird, but
yeah,
I can sort of see what they're going for.
But I think without the modern day stuff being central, it feels weird because there's the floating Animus tokens and stuff, and I know that when you kill somebody, it doesn't insta fail you anymore. It just says Edward did not kill civilians. And I hunted 3 ocelots on an island, and then a turtle crawled its fat ass out of the sea. So I murdered it instantly because I thought, well, I'm going to have to skin that. And the game told me off for it. And then it did the same. It did the same in a town when I was fighting 4 guards and accidentally skewered a chicken. And it was like, Edward did not kill domesticated animals. And I was like, the chicken fucking needs to watch where it's going, because there's clearly a sword fight happening here. Edward didn't murder a chicken. And it's like,
I love the idea. It's like a town full of NPCs dancing around, drinking, doing their stuff, and you still manage to get the chicken rather than
still skewered the chicken. I've killed a fair few people accidentally with explosives and stuff, but it used to fail you for that. It used to be proper slap you on the wrist. You mustn't kill civilians. And now it just
gives you a stern look across the room.
Yeah, now it's just like, Edward didn't do that. Okay, I did. I was late and he was slow. So it's like, but yeah, I really like it. I think it's really good. I think it's a really good remake. I think everything they've changed. I think the ship combat, I didn't realize how much. Okay, I don't think it's changed much, but it has been improved. But the ship combat feels the same to me as it did, and that might be rose-tinted goggles. But
I think it's smoother, and there's definitely more effect in terms of
the weather,
the speed reacts, and the weather stuff. Well, that's
because now
about it, and that has can have a huge effect on how a battle's going at times.
Well, if you have a fight now if you're having a ship battle at night and a storm blows in, that's just spectacular. It's just crazy, it's so cool, because you're cresting waves and trying to fucking level your cannon. And then if you're doing one of the naval contracts, you'll have 3, sometimes 2, 3 or 4 enemy ships sailing around you, and then
you suddenly you're in the middle of a typhoon and everyone's just getting pulled together.
I mean, you're basically pulling handbrake turns in a fucking 150-foot pirate ship, which is not at all possible, but like that's really cool. Like when you crest a wave and you hold circle down and basically handbrake turn the boat,
spin it around. It would be so frustrating without that though. If you actually had realistic turn radius, can you imagine them? Each battle's 14 hours.
Yeah, because it takes 28 minutes to come about and fire cannons at anything. So I think that's really cool and silly.
They've made general ship traversal a little easier as well. By you've now got like the guides to follow, or you can literally just set it on autopilot to a position as well.
Yeah, because
if you just like, I'm not that fussed about where I'm going because it's halfway across the map. Quickly stick it on, do that, grab your phone, check wherever you check in, and then you're there.
They've added the guides when you hold up, like they add in the later ones, haven't they? So now you just hold up and it just takes you where you want to go. Like if you're going to do that, you might as well fast travel. But I like to say, I like stuff like when the whales break the surface and when dolphins just appear alongside you, and like I like seeing a ship on the horizon and checking it out. And
you're
it's always
just there scoping it out for metal and wood.
Yeah, it's normally fucking just Spaniards, but like I'll go because I tend to only sink pirate vessels because they don't attract.
Oh, you don't build up your reputation.
You don't build up the reputation. I think you do, but not as fast. So usually, if I'm just trying to randomly farm materials, I'll just sink pirate ships.
Because you've got a risk reward element to that, which I don't remember if that was in the original or not, whereby you can choose to either take more goods or you can get rid of your wanted level essentially.
Yeah,
so
I think
that's do that kind of risk reward against it as well.
Yeah, because you either use it to repair your ship, or you can
Yeah.
put it in your fleet and name one of your men captain, which is really annoying because you can do all that for hours and hours before you actually unlock the ability to use your fleet for anything. So by the time you come to use your fleet, you've got like 50 ships, and it's like because you can't actually send the fleet out until you get to like a point in the game where you have to conquer a fort, and then once you've conquered the forts, you can send your ships out to do missions on their own. But I
feel like I've collected about 50,000 crew members at this point.
Yeah, but I like the fact that you collect a ship and then Edward just gets a little model of it that you can put on the shelf in the hideout, and like that sort of shit I like. It's like Mass Effect when you had all the ship models that you can collect, cool. And I like that stuff. But yeah, I think this is really good. I think the only thing that I've struggled with no. That's not fair. I haven't struggled with it. The only thing that stands out to me is I feel like the new missions stick out a little bit, and I don't know what it is about them. I don't know if it's the writing or if it's the characters they've added, but they just like because you've got the shipwright, the master at arms, and I can't remember what the third one is because I did him second. So the master at arms is the Padre, and the shipwright is Lucy, and then you've got the other guy whose name one of them called
Steed something.
Steed was always there. He's the guy, the merchant who you meet at the beginning.
You meet at the beginning, yeah. So they've added. I think there's altogether about half a dozen new quest lines added, because you now get an end to Steed Bonnet's story. There's an end to Blackbeard's story, which wasn't the fact there weren't ends to them in the original. The characters just left the game, like they just did their like. Whereas now they have
piratey way.
Yeah, now they have like something that ties off what happens to them, which they were okay. But the thing that nagged at me a little bit was like there was just something about particularly the Lucy Baldwin, the shipwright one, where you like go and hunt, you go and find her dad, and then you go and find the barrister, and it was really like by the numbers stuff. Like, and you think if you're going to add something to this game, like give us, like you've got all this experience and all these years of making these games, and you've got this rich world to build on and all these ideas, and then the quests are just go here, kill this guy, go here, sink these ships, go here, kill this guy, done. And it's like, and I know a lot of the games like that, but they could have thrown some other bits in. They could have made it something more, I don't know, exciting, I guess.
That could have been the excuse for a bit of a weirder moment because it's been thrown in later.
Well, why not tie the stuff they changed at the end with like the Animus? Why not just tie that into the new stuff, and then at least there's some organic.
Yeah, you've got a thread running through.
Yeah, you could even have made up like Abstergo and added stuff to this Animus program of Edward. Do you know what I mean? But you could have done that.
Yeah, you could angle it in some way.
You could have, if you wanted to, they could have dug into the narrative like that, and they didn't really. But yeah,
what did you think to the new combat then? That's one area that is massive in this game in terms of not ship combat, hand-to-hand combat, stroke sword to sword.
So I think it feels like the later ones to an extent, but I think it's better than the combat in Shadows.
It feels like it's taken the DNA of the original combat and kept more of that in there than the more recent games.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
I liked the combat in Shadows, but I felt like it took me a while to get my head around it. I remember saying when I was reviewing it to Adam when I first started playing it, combat feels off in Shadows, and it took me a while to get a rhythm. It just didn't feel immediate enough. It didn't click for a while. It did eventually. Whereas this just felt good straight away. It was just, and I do wish it wasn't quite as janky as it is. There's some bits where, you know, guys float in a funny way, or Edward just clips through somebody's stabbing, or
the animation feels less canned than it would have been previously, but there is still a touch of that there.
I think the actual combat's brilliant. I think it's wonderful. I think like using the rope dart to drag them in, the kick and the sweep are both really cool.
Yeah, that's the new stuff in there, and that's great.
I like the fact that now you can just hold a button down and tap triangle, and he'll just unload however many pistols he's got on him. And it's like, I can't remember if you could do that before. I knew you could draw the pistol and shoot, but I can't remember if you could just hold a button down and tap it, and he would just
quick shot mode.
He would just literally shoot until his ammo had ran out. That's really cool. I think combat's really good. I think it feels really, really fun. It doesn't matter how many guys. It's one of those games where you're like, bring it on. Do you know what I mean? Like you're fighting one guy and then you see more come in, and it's like, and I used to feel that with games like The Witcher or Arkham, where
there's never that temptation just to run, is there? You look and you think,
you just think, right, because you feel in control of where you're moving. You like the parry window's fair. The indicators are big, you can't miss them. I get stabbed a lot by the little fast dudes, no matter which ones I'm, because I just expect them to do a blue attack, and by the time I've realised it's red, they've stabbed me. So they would just, I would just end up tanking.
The takedowns are satisfying and brutal. I remember you mentioning at the time saying, like, shit, what is this wrong with this guy? Because he's doing some horrible shit.
There are some moments where you're a bit like, you could just stab. If you stab a guy in the heart, he's gonna die. Like, you only have to do that once. Do you know what I mean? But then Edward's like 2 swords in him, and then a hidden blade under his jaw, and then slam him into the floor as well.
He's just making sure, mate. He's taking care of business.
There's one where he literally puts his sword through someone's like chin, and then fucking upper knee, like does a flying knee kick into it as well. And it's like, are you all right, mate? Like
the kebab special.
Yeah, are you really that angry right now? Like, some of it's quite. I tell you what, I do find a bit weird though. I don't know if it's me or if the guards are just way more lenient than they were before, because I can have full-on fights in the street, murder 8 or 9 guards. Once those few guards are dead, no one else comes running. And I'm sure Assassin's Creed games had that thing where an onlooker would run away and start screaming, and any guards in the vicinity would then... That doesn't happen in...
You'd end up in a chase more often than after a fight, wouldn't you? And then you'd be lucky if you got away.
Yeah, that doesn't happen in Resynced. I just think, I'm not going to run away. I'm just going to murder all of these guards and then hide in a box, and then it goes away. And I'm sure it didn't do that previously. I'm sure that if you killed enough people or you caused enough mess and noise, it would go on endlessly. You would just have an endless parade and eventually you would just have to run away, get on a rooftop or in a hay bale and just hide until they went away. But I don't think that happens in this. I think you can just kill everybody and then they stop coming, and the onlookers tend to not run away screaming.
Just let you get on with it. That's because they don't want a sword through the chin, pretty much.
Well, maybe. I guess, If they've just seen you...
They probably thought that, I'm not fucking with this guy.
They've just seen you kebab skewer 4 guards in a row, nail one to a wall and break a kneecap. Like, break a kneecap, puncture his spleen, and then slit his throat. In that order for maximum discomfort. And then crack jokes straight afterwards with your Welsh charm.
He does love a little quip, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think Edward's brilliant, and I think he's a wonderful character. I think he's got a lot of nuance. I forgot how much of a dick he was at the beginning. Like he's like
just in his like cockiness and.
Well, he's a proper individualist, isn't he? He's like always focused on what he wants all the time. It just happens to align sometimes with doing the right thing.
But he gets a fair bit of character progression here, doesn't he?
He does. I find it interesting the stuff with Caroline when you get flashbacks, because I find it quite amusing that Edward's so hell bent on making them a better life, and Caroline's just like, I'm all right. like this is okay. Like my dad's rich, and we've got this house, and do you know what I mean? We'll be okay.
There's a bit with the hot chocolate on it.
Yeah,
she's like, yeah, I've had that before.
Yeah, she's just like, yeah, I've had that before. Like I gave that up to marry you. Like if I wasn't married to you, I'd be living with my rich merchant dad, eating fucking chocolate off the bellboys' asses. But I'm not. I'm running around with you. So it's like I do enjoy that stuff. I do think that's quite amusing that Edward is just so hell bent and focused on creating a better life for himself that he doesn't just like enjoy what he's got and get a fucking job and just live his life.
But it does recognize that sort of story beats and how he's got more temptation for the gold than he has the life he was sort of promising and what he set out to do.
Yeah,
it sounds like he planned to do it for like, I don't know, a few months, and here we are like 3 years later, he's still like hooning around the Caribbean.
Yeah, the end game does some weird stuff with that. Like I said, like not really the end game, but the last like few hours of the story do some weird stuff with Edward's like character progression, which is a bit weird. Again, I don't want to spoil it, but it's a bit odd. But I do think that his character is really good, and I do think the supporting cast of characters in this game are probably the best in the franchise. Like it's probably got the best network of supporting characters out of all of them. When you've got like Blackbeard and like Woods Rogers,
they feel more fully fleshed out than some.
Yeah, and like they're not just there to be shot, because you've got a lot of, or just to show up and be like, oh, I'll help you for this section of the game. You've got like he constantly is interacting with like the pirate group, like, and they've got their little personality quirks, like that they do things like Charles Vane is quite a cool and unhinged character, and then Blackbeard is completely fucking doolally and like superbly played, and then like Anne Bonny's cool, the James Kidd stuff.
See, I still love Steed, man. He's such a lovable dude.
Yeah, Steve Bonnet.
I think it's just his naivety and just like I just want to give him a hug.
Yeah, Steve's cool, but it's really, really good. We should move on though, because we've talked about it a lot. The reviews on the site though, I did give it a 10 out of 10. I really, really like it. If you like the original, you will like this because it's better.
Yeah,
it's a better version of the original. And I do think if you like Assassin's Creed games, and this is what, because the original's 13 years old, there's people that are playing Assassin's Creed now that won't necessarily have played stuff from 13 years ago. Like young people, 18, 20-year-olds might not have even touched this. So, and if you're like me and Kieran, you don't play old games, so why would you have? So this is ideal now. Go and play Resynced. Give it a go. I don't like to tell people to spend their money on anything, but I'd say this is worth it if you're a fan of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it's quite reasonably priced as well. It's not like a full price 70 quid game, which I thought was a surprise.
40 quid?
I think it's 50 quid.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, that used to be full price, didn't it?
Well, yeah.
And a cheaper game was 25 or 30, but this is the world we live in. This is Thatcher's Britain again. So yeah, I would say go and play it though. It's well worth playing. But yeah, moving on. So we've done our remakes, but Kieran's been playing a new game because, as we said, Kieran hates old games. So he's been playing something that's so new, it's not even out yet.
We do that quite a lot here, you know.
It's not Blood of the Dawnwalker. It's Blood of Dawnwalker.
The Blood of Dawnwalker.
The Blood of Dawnwalker. That feels so clumsy to me.
I get it wrong every time. I was calling him Bloodwalker for ages.
Because he is the Dawnwalker.
John Bloodwalker.
So why is it not just called Blood of the Dawnwalker? It's so weird where they put the. It doesn't make sense to me. My writer's brain is like, I just want to correct it every time.
It feels like they're trying to be quite specific about it. Maybe it's like a narrative thing.
Maybe.
I should have asked that in interview.
You should have. You should have, and you didn't. You failed. But before we shit all over the blood of the Dawn, the Walker, we should hear what it's like, because Kieran has played. How much did you play of it?
I played about 4 hours of it.
Because you went to London, right? You went to the preview.
Yeah, I went to spend the day in a crypt in
a really warm crypt.
And then did you go to the preview after you were done with that?
Then I went to the preview. Yeah, sweet. I just spent 4 hours in a crypt, arsing about.
As you do, arsing about in a crypt.
Yeah. I spent about 4 hours with the game. So I played the full prologue, which sort of introduces you to the main character Cohen, and it does a really, really good job of setting up the world and I guess the premise for the story. So it all takes place in this valley called Vale Sangora, and there's a group of vampires that basically subjugated everyone that lives in the valley. They got a special name for the vampires. I can't think what it is off the top of my head, but it's like they look pretty gruesome. Like they're well designed vampires. It's not like Twilight vampires. They look.
Are these more like Nosferatu-esque looking?
He is the big bad guy. Brentis is, and then he's got like this group of 3 lieutenants, and the designs. You only see them very briefly in the prologue, but the designs on them like absolutely have me wanting to know more about who they are and what they're
bit more
There's one who's like, like
Legacy of Kain. The vampires had a bit more about them than just pointy fangs and sparkly skin.
Yeah, one of them looks like something out of Legacy of Kain a little bit. Actually, he's a bit like sort of aristocratic, foppish in a way. I guess is one way of putting it. Well, I'm thinking of Castlevania, not Legacy of Kain. He's got that sort of like look about him.
See, I'm thinking Brad Pitt Interview with the Vampire vibes.
No, one of them is like this massive Mongolian dude, and then the third one is like this. She looks like something almost like something out of Resident Evil. She's like this like thin, wiry woman with like this mask over her face, and she looks horrible.
This is all third-person action RPG.
It's I mean, if I was to describe to split it out, I'd say it's like 80% The Witcher, 10% things like Dishonored, and 10% like Kingdom Come.
Okay,
like it's very, very, very heavily like Witcher coded. Like, you know, if you know anything about who's making it, a lot of them came from CD Projekt Red. They worked on The Witcher 3.
Sounds incredibly
It feels very much. Yeah, it feels like, even down to like, if you remember how like investigations were handled in The Witcher, and you would walk around with Witcher scents on, and you would look for items to interact with. That's all in there. There's even a very similar musical flourish that plays when you level up. You know, sort of like wailing music. I don't know how to describe it. It's like just a piece of wailing music that plays when you level up, and it's like makes it like a bit of an event. That happens. A little
crescendo of singing, isn't it?
Yeah, and I really like it, and I liked it in The Witcher 3, and I like it here as well. But then you've got like the mix of his powers thrown into it as well. So you've got like the ability to blink, and you can walk like blink from Dishonored, so you can teleport forward short distances, and it's really responsive, and it feels really good to use. And you can walk on walls, and there's a bunch of other powers that I didn't get access to. And then I guess the 10% for Kingdom Come is partially because the location, it's the same sort of setting, same sort of part of the world, but then also because the combat. I didn't know this until I went in on the day, but the combat is directional. So,
okay.
You have like 4 direct. You have to aim your attack, whether it's up, down, left, or right, based on where the enemy is blocking, and then you've got to block and dodge the same way as well.
Is that easy? I'm assuming not everything is a one-on-one.
No, when there's a few cards.
Yeah, that must be a bit of a brain twister then.
I died a lot, like mainly because I just there was some areas where I'd sort of got to, and I knew that I couldn't do everything in the preview anyway. So I thought, I'm here anyway. I'm just going to keep going until I either give up or make it through this section.
Presumably,
the combat's really good. It's just go on.
Sorry, I was going to say, presumably though, as you unlock more abilities and get stronger, like there'd be more things to mix into like a standard combat. I mean, the enemies will obviously grow with you, but like because you were in the prologue, so presumably you were playing at a point where your character is naturally quite underpowered.
Yep.
So because you said some stuff because I read your preview a couple of times now, and that there's a bit in the preview where you talked about like the magic system, because you have magic in the day, but it's based on blood, so you can't do it at night when you're he's human in the day, but then he literally becomes a vampire at night, so he's like best of both worlds. But then the magic system is based on you cut yourself but you can't do that at night because you just instantly heal. So you lose your human magic, but you get the vampire stuff at night, which I find just really interesting.
Yeah, they've done a really good job, because I imagine it's quite easy for the vampire stuff to feel way more interesting and way more fun than the
well, that's what I was worried about. We talked about this, didn't we, a couple of months ago? We said, is it going to be a game where you're just like, fucking hell, I'm stuck in Persona, wandering around, waiting for something to happen. No shade on Persona.
That's all right. Lyle's gone.
I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah, the magic stuff. I think it's a really good way of making the human side a bit more, giving it a little bit extra to it. It's got this time system as well. So day and night are both broken up into 8 chunks each. However you choose to progress different quest lines or even learn certain abilities. You know, some abilities require a time sacrifice as well as an XP sacrifice.
Because they've made quite a lot of that leading up to this, haven't they? About how you could miss certain events if you're just pissing around doing something else.
You can't do everything. And it's one of those games where you're going to have to make peace with the fact that you're going to have to commit time to a route or a mixture of routes, and you won't get to see the alternative unless you replay it, which I'm fine with. You know, that's how I like to play games anyway. But yeah, you've got that sort of split. And yeah, for the 8 sort of time chunks in the day, you're playing as the human version of Cohen, and he's got like, I mean, you get sword mastery abilities as well, so you can like throw dust in people's faces and charge at them and stuff. But then you've also got the magic element, which I didn't get any. I don't know if there's any magic abilities for combat, but there are for like exploration and investigation. So the first one you get is the ability to speak to the dead, basically. So you need to be able to sort of put a cut on your hand and then look for an item that is of significance to the dead person, and then you can speak to them, and then you can use that to, you know, through investigations and stuff. And then there was one other ability unlocked, which was to open up portals to like the netherworld, basically, and you could unleash demons, which you then kill, and then you get like rewards and stuff. But it's really cool, like the way it's, you know, like I said, it is very Witchery in the way the investigations are handled, but you've got 2 routes, I guess. So you know, the route that you take differs depending on whether you go day or night. Because if you go at night, you know, the guards know that you're a vampire and they know who you are, and they will try and kill you. So you can try and sneak.
So you can always teleport. Take a different option if you know. I guess you can go back and redo it, because it's a case of you've made this path for yourself, now just fucking walk it.
Well, I did that in daytime in the first instance. I probably would have been able to speak, you know, talk my way in.
So it's not as if they're thinking, oh, it's a different guy now, he looks way more human.
No, they know.
Remember and do react accordingly.
So I feel like I was very unfair on this in a way. Now you've played 4 hours of it and you've come away and you've said this, it feels like this and it does this. Because I do remember when we spoke a couple of months ago and we were going through like our most anticipated games, and I said and I remember my quote was like, there's a very good chance this could be shit. And like that at the time, that's a fair assumption, because we'd only seen a little bit janky gameplay, and we knew it was a game by, because the fact that a game is made by ex-devs of such and such is not necessarily a stamp of approval. You don't necessarily know what they've carried over. And the fact that it looks so Witchery was just, you know, it would be very easy to make the Witcher at home jokes and whatever. But like the way you've been speaking about it, like since the preview, and in the preview, go and read Kieran's preview. I can't wait for it now. Like there seems to be so much more to it, because we were talking about how we were worried about how they would do the day-night split, and we were talking about like, well, if you miss something, is it going to be a game that you want to replay 25 hours or whatever the runtime of the game is? Because I read earlier on, and I think it was so I only read the headline. I think it was a Eurogamer preview, and they were and it basically was talking about the fact that you can complete the game in the prologue. So I
didn't know that.
Yeah, apparently there's a fight with Brensis in the prologue, and it's you're going to lose this.
There is,
fight.
Yeah.
But apparently there is a possibility that you could be one of those players that's going to spend 15 hours solid for 2 weeks until they do this. And apparently if you beat him in the prologue, you win. And you can there's also you can also do a Far Cry 4 apparently, where if you just if you don't do something in the prologue and allow something else to happen, credits roll and the game's finished and it's just over. And the fact that they're releasing this sort of information, because this is a normal sort of thing that a developer would say nothing about, and then just
people find it a few weeks later.
Find it later and discover it organically. So it's maybe I have mixed feelings on why they've told everybody that you can do this, but I also think it's cool, and it speaks to sort of, they seem very confident of this. Is the feeling I get. There's obviously going to be enough in this game that they haven't revealed and haven't shown and haven't told us. So yeah, the fact that the developer is so confident on this has given me a lot of hope.
Yeah, there's a lot in it. And when I spoke to I did an interview with the team as well, which is also on the site. They spoke about it as in they've basically had to create 2 games and almost smush them together, and you really can feel that there's clearly so much in it. But even all the way down to like how you heal in a fight, for example, how you heal as a vampire is completely different to how you heal as human. So and the stuff that you have for one won't work with the other. And same with certain bits of equipment. You might be equipping like rings, for example, that improve your vampiric powers, but they have no use in the day. And you can set up loadouts almost. So you can have a loadout for human Cohen and a loadout for vampire Cohen.
So it's not just a palette swap when it becomes a bit darker.
No. Even to like, he's obviously like an expert with a sword, but when you're in vampire mode, you don't have to use your sword. You can put it down and just use your claws, and it feels brutal. In fact, the combat's really brutal. I don't remember if The Witcher was like this. I know The Witcher was quite it was a brutal game in places, but when you're playing as a vampire, there are limbs flying everywhere. Like he is constantly hacking stuff off.
The Witcher was quite flourishy. Like I remember you could behead people and stuff like that in The Witcher, but
you'd sometimes bisect them, wouldn't you, as well?
Yeah, but there was always the combat was always Geralt leaping around, and you never really focused on anything long enough to see much of it. It just sort of happened. I tell you what, so I'm thinking about like, there's not that many games that have this extreme dichotomy between the 2 dual states.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like we've all seen games where like switch to beast mode or whatever for 30 seconds, or like the old Soul Reaver games where you would switch to like spectral, and it was very different. I mean, that was a lot more basic than this because it's a much older game, but you don't see it an awful lot where there's 2 completely different play styles literally smushed together the way that this is doing it, and that's quite ambitious, and it sounds very interesting.
It's freeform as well. Like, so the conceit of the game is you need to rescue your family from Brentsis before in the next 30 days. He holds mass every 30 days, and in that mass he takes blood from people, and there's quite like a gruesome scene involving Cohen's family at the start of the game, and then after that your family get taken and you've got to get them back. How you do it is up to you. So that those 8 chunks of time that you got day and night for 30 days, how you do it is up to you, and you can find leads in the world. You can meet with, like, you can either try and build your magic powers, you can build up a network of support to try and take down Brentsis, or
could you not just send him a nicely worded letter?
I mean, there might be an option. It's an RPG and it's quite an in-depth one. There might be an option for that, but
can I have my folks back, please? Thanks.
Like I after I got fucked up by that fort of enemies, I thought I knew I wasn't going to be able to explore the whole map. I knew we just had a certain section, so I thought I'm just going to look at all the points of interest around here and see what they are. So like I was walking along, I wandered into the swamps, which is full of like alligator monsters and things, and I found like this really like, it was, again, everything in this world is so depressing and like downtrodden, but it was a really like grim scene of like people like panning for stuff in the swamps with like these little trays. And it turned out it was a leech farm, and it was part of one of his lieutenants. One of his lieutenants is responsible for blood production, so he found his leech farm, and then you can go in there, you can kill the guards, and then it leads to like a quest line that shuts down the leech farm production.
Is that just like draining people in like a battery-esque manner? So you just plug a leech in when you're running low later? I
don't know, because I couldn't kill the guards. There was four guards or 4 or 5 guards in this area. One of them was a big one, and I couldn't get them without. I didn't have enough healing items on me, and it was in the day, and I didn't want to advance time to night. And then there was another one I found where I found like there was a some of his guards had stopped and they were carrying stuff back towards his castle. And I thought, well, here's an opportunity to throw a spanner in the works and destroy, part of his operation. Did it, and a bloke popped out of one of the barrels called Klaus the Brave, and he was telling me that he was trying to prove his worth to the rebel leader who's nearby by sneaking into Brent's castle through a blood barrel and destroying all his blood stuff, all his blood stores in the castle. And it led to quite like a really funny interaction with this guy, and it's clearly like a quest line that's going to continue further into the game. I only saw the start of it, but there's just so much to it. And
it sounds great. This was one that I didn't have a lot of interest in until you've been talking about it recently.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. And it's 100% a Mick game as well. Like, I'd be shocked if you don't love it, Mick, because it seems like your thing.
Everything I've heard about it in the last couple of weeks has got me more and more and more excited about it, because it was on my list anyway. It was on my radar as this is going to be good
ages ago.
But I've played way too many games that look really, really good, and then they're kind of Euro janky, and I'm wary of it now. Like, over the last few years, there's been a lot of these like AA games that look like they're going to be really good, and the trailers are great, and the previews are quite good, and then when you get your hands on things like Echoes of the End and stuff like that, even things like Forspoken and stuff, they look like they're going to be really, really good, and they've got this ex-developer of this game and this ex-producer of that game, and it's always like I get really hyped and I fall victim to my own hype, and then I get the game and I'm like, this is just a 7. Like a 7 is good, like a 7 means good, but I've hyped myself up to being like, this is going to be really, really good, and then it's like, if I'm lucky, it's a 7 or it's a 6 out of 10.
Would you say you're once bitten, twice shy in this situation?
Yeah, a little bit. And I guess I've just...
Pun? Is that a vampire?
No, come on. As if I'd do that.
But I'm also a little bit... So I do admit to being... I'm a little bit cynical in my old age, and I have to play something before I can... I mean, that's obvious, but some people don't. But yeah, I have to get the feel of something before I can decide if I like it or not. And then it has to grab me in, like, it gets about 3.5 minutes to get my attention. And if it doesn't, I'll just move on to something else. It's very rare that I'll give anything a second.
Thank God it's not just me that does that.
No, I do as well.
But if a game, like, I haven't got time anymore because we're reviewing constantly, and if I was reviewing this, obviously I'd play it, but if we're lucky enough to get codes where we can do coverage on guides and stuff like that, then
articles, whatever might come up.
I'll want it to sort of grab me. But it looks, the more I hear about it, the more Kieran talks about it. I mean, it's super positive. His preview is super. I mean, every preview has been super. I've read 3 or 4, and they're all saying similar things that people... I don't think anybody... I think even the people like Kieran, who are... I'm not speaking for you, but it seems like even the people that went into this positive have come away going, well, fucking, that was better than I thought it was going to be, or that does more than I expected it to, and that's always a really good sign. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Yeah. So, and it's out September time, you said?
September 3rd, yeah.
Brilliant. So yeah, not long to wait now, because that's creeping up. The August, September, October Palooza is coming. The silly season is nearly upon us. We've got a couple of weeks. Got Assassin's Creed Black Flag now. There's a lot of DLC just dropping like all over the place. We just had like the Doom DLCs dropped at time of recording. I'm going to review that, so that'll be... Might talk about that next week. And then like the Altars, we'll talk about that next week, because the Altars DLC is coming out next. Oh, well, at time of recording, it's coming out in about a week's time. So by the time we record next, we'll go through that. And yeah, it's quite a bit of stuff. And on Hellclock, I'm playing Hellclock. I don't know if anybody played Hellclock, but that's really good. That's just got a big 1.0 release that's hitting console. It's a bit like Hades. Okay. It's an isometric roguelike, so I'm just shorthanding it to say it's like Hades, but it's more like Curse of the Dead Gods. But you're a gunslinger, and it's really, really good. Like, the progression is fucking on point. It's a really fun game. Like, the central conceit is that you only get... Well, at the beginning, you've got 7 minutes per run, and when the 7 minutes runs out, you just die. So, like, you just get as far as you can in the 7 minutes.
Going hell for leather through it, yeah.
And you're constantly doing that Vampire Survivors thing where you fill up XP and you get 3 skills to choose from, and it keeps doing it. And like chests and bosses and stuff will give you more time or drop trinkets, and the trinkets are just like power, speed, strength, alacrity. They just keep adding stuff up. And then like, so you get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger as the run goes on, but you can't stop the time ticking down. It only pauses for boss fights. And then when it runs out, you just die. And then you go right back to the beginning. You've got to do the whole thing again like Hades. There's no like skips to the next areas. But then as you play it, you get permanent unlocks and you get more time added to the clock.
That sounds like my kind of jam.
You'd love it, I think. It's really good roguelike. But I'll discuss it more next week because it's hot and we've done 3.
I might be dropping what is probably the hottest genre on you next week with a bit of golf simulation talk as well.
A golf simulator?
Yeah. With a game called Normal Golf Game, but I'll hold it back for you to leave you pondering it for a week.
I mean, it sounds just...
and it is a normal golf game. What more do you want?
It just sounds like it's going to set our world on fire. Who's back?
It's because I mentioned fucking golf. He's out of there.
Going on?
Oh, there he is. I can hear him now as well.
Oh, lovely.
His sound is back. That bodes well because we've got to go and record a bonus pod, and he's supposed to be hosting it. So.
Bonus.
That'd be great.
Fingers crossed, everybody. There's a bonus pod actually. But yeah, that was it. I think we'll call it. That's a nice tidy hour. We talked about some big fat games. Lyle got his game out before his internet died. So.
Just enough.
Yeah. So yeah, as usual, this goes out on a Monday to everybody, goes out a little bit earlier for Patreons. Then we have a bonus pod that goes out on a Wednesday, which is Patreon only. And like I said, if you go back a couple of weeks, you'll see we did a ranking of
we did a few
Resident Evil, and then we did the games to play before GTA. Those are actually bonus pods, which we've repurposed into main pods because we couldn't be asked one day, or it was too hot, or one of us was ill, or all our internets died. I can't remember. But you can see those, and that'll give you an indication what we do on the bonus pods. But we're going to go and we're going to record one of those now. So,
yeah, we are.
Yeah, we are. And we're going to get through it.
Ready.
Yeah. Just leaves me to say, I've been Mick Fraser. He's been Kieran Singh. He's been Steve Chambers. He's been Lyle Pendle for most of it.
Yeah, some of it.
And you guys have been lovely. Bye-bye.
Ta-ra.
See ya.